said that Buhari actually died in London and that he was taken to Saudi Arabia. Then he was replaced by a body double, Jubril, from Sudan, infested with rats and all that. So it was really a big controversy in Nigeria. What do you say about that period?
Well, that is, Garba Shehu has said that he lied about the rats and the infestation. All I could tell you, I was in Abuja at that time. You see, the use of body doubles, it's a norm used across countries by presidents and leaders. So yes, Buhari was sick, but because of the overwhelming clamor for him to return, somebody returned a body double, and it wasn't Buhari, and that body double didn't have the biometric to gain access. So if you ask me, I'll tell you yes. There were different pictures of different people who look like Buhari. Those were body doubles. But I will tell you that body doubles are not new. Body doubles are used across the world by several people in statecraft. The body double that time, the person who came back didn't have Buhari's biometrics. Yes, he had Buhari's face, but he couldn't enter that particular place because, and that was why they had to get Julius Berger to come and remove it and then try to just give a key that will go in and out without a biometric lock for it to open. That's what.
Bang, bang. Did you hear that? Very good. You see, this life, the truth cannot be hidden forever. You can only hide it for a period of time. It can never be hidden forever. The truth will surely come outside. Now you hear what he said. So this is also a confirmation for what Nnamdi Kanu said before. Nnamdi Kanu said it. Many people knows about it. They know that what happened at that time, because you only ask people to keep quiet, not to talk. It's not as if people are not aware. Information, you know. So that's what happened. Now I want you to take your time, listen to everything this man said. You know this man, Dr. Kachishu Naniju. You know this man. You don't want to miss this video. Take your time, watch the video to the end, so that this man will expose a lot of things to you. What happened under Tinubu's government? Imagine, did you hear that? To an extent, his face could not open the door. They have to call Julius Berger to remove it so that he doesn't need a facial to enter again, so he can just go in. But you see now, it is clear, it is obvious now. Everybody now understand. So now, finally, anybody can talk. If you have any informations about Buhari's at that time, what transpired in 2017, 2018, what happened, anybody can come and speak now. If you have evidence, concrete evidence, because the Buhari himself, he don't die, the crease don't close, all the arrangement, everything, he don't close. Anybody can talk now. Do you understand? So take your time, watch this video to the end. And please, if today is your first time coming across my YouTube channel, please do me a favor to subscribe and hit the notification button so that you don't miss out on it like this. Very important. Share this video, watch the video to the end. We'll come back.
For it to open. That's what happened.
Numerous of them from Israel. The man in Asar Rock is not Buhari. And together we are all going to prove that this very...
Muhammadu Buhari has died. Of course, you were around during his military days. You were around during his him being president days. And yesterday, he passed. How would you describe him?
Well, Buhari was an enigmatic figure, very much unknown to most Nigerians, because when first he was a military president, I lived in Ikeja, and I was in Ikeja, Lagos, when he was overthrown by President Babangida. And so we didn't know him, but people believed a lot that the rhetorics that he mounted then, if they had given him chance, he will have done them. Then finally, after several trials, he became a president under democracy and went on to do things for which, as I'm talking to you today, in the Hausa state of Katsina, as they heard that he died yesterday, children were running along the street celebrating, saying Buhari Yamutu, and they were all laughing. Buhari is dead. Why are Hausas jubilating at Buhari's death? Because Katsina is about 87% Hausas, but Katsina doesn't have a Hausa as governor, deputy, SSG, or whatever. They were totally cleansed. In Katsina, Hausas were so killed that in places like Basari, Dutsima, Kankara, Damusa, and places like where will I call now? Even in Katsina itself, Hausas were being killed by foreign Fulanese. I went there, that was in Kankara. I went from the Biriningwari, Funtua, Kankara Road, and I got there, and Hausas were complaining that foreigners, and when I met some foreigners, I found that they were not Nigerians. Most of them spoke Bambara, as most speak French. So they were from Mali. They were displaced from Mali due to the war in central Mali in a place called Mopto between Fulanese and Dogons, and they came in. Yes, Buhari tried to find them accommodation by trying to resettle them in what he called grazing reserves. Nigerians didn't give him. And then, despite all he did, he couldn't get land. And they started in Katsina State. That's why Katsina is very, very unique. It was in Katsina where these killings, the industrial scale ethnic cleansings of indigenous people started to take land of Hausas to resettle Fulani refugees from Mali. Now, as he died, Hausas are celebrating on the streets of Katsina that Buhari has died. Yes, I read yesterday his wife begging that Nigerians should forgive him, that he said that Nigerians should forgive him for his mistakes. That's probably because he didn't know that 8 years of reign wouldn't be enough for him to achieve that which is sought. Part of his legacy, you saw when Tinubu visited Benue State. That's what he did. He Afghanistanized our military, so much so that those who are now in charge in our military cannot protect Nigerians. They can't protect us. That's why you saw foreigners referring to our military as cowards. That was Buhari's doing. And today, you saw, this is Buhari's legacy. You cannot run away from it.
Dr. Noneju.
You can't run away from it.
Yeah. All right, Dr. Noneju. I'm looking at the life and times of President Muhammadu Buhari. He's a man of many sides, different opinions from different angles, depending on who you ask. For you, as a public affairs analyst, Dr. Noneju, what is one thing that stands out for you during the time of Buhari? What do you like about the man? What was one thing he did right? One thing that stood out for you that, oh, he did this right. Talking about the man.
How to go viral as a man.
What was one thing he did right? One thing that stood out for you that, oh, he did this right. Talking about the man, Muhammadu Buhari.
Politicians are known for trying to deceive the crowd. Buhari was a master class when it comes to deception. Buhari was fundamentally dishonest, deceitful, and if you also checked about him, for me, he was just incompetent in managing Nigeria's diversity. You can't take that away from Buhari.
Yeah, Dr. Noneju,
and this is the issue.
Yeah. The question is, what was one thing you liked about him? One good thing.
That's what I liked about him. That's what I liked about him. He was a master class when it comes to deception. You see, because Buhari was seen, and we called him Megaskia. Megaskia in Hausa means the truth master. I grew as a Hausa child, so I knew him and I believed in him. And even when they said it, I didn't support him when he was running for president. But when he got in, I said, okay, to Yenzimona de Megaskia, Kobashi Megaskia, who knows he's going to do good things. No. What Buhari did now was he wasted his 8 years. We had 3 recessions under Buhari. Buhari did not see the beauty of our diversity. He didn't see that. Buhari weaponized nepotism against the Igbos. One trick is that despite Buhari's 8 years, Igbos are still Nigerians. Remember he said 5%. But when people kept quiet about the 5%, it now got to 98%. Nigerians were dispossessed. Buhari weaponized nepotism in a way no one else ever did in Nigeria's history. So what I liked about him, he was a master class when it comes to deception. Most politicians will lie, but Buhari was an embodiment of deception. And that's why you see, now his wife said, forgive him. I don't know how we're going to do about it. We're in trouble today. The country is in a mess today. And the biggest problem we have is insecurity. Never mind the law after Buhari and Tinubu has visited Benue. I am afraid about our tomorrow. Our people cannot sleep. Our farmers cannot go to farm. It is Buhari. Why? The militias that he brought in from outside countries, he said it himself, that they came from Libya, they were this and that. This is not true. Most came from Burkina Faso. Most came from Mali. Some came from Central African Republic. Buhari allowed them to come into Nigeria with guns. And today, Nigerians cannot sleep. So whether you say, well, look, if you're very good in what you do, I respect you for that. But it was a master class when it comes to deception. That's who he was.
All right. Now, many things have been said about the man, Buhari. When he ran in 2015, the demeanor around him, the mystery around him, in fact, the projections and the testimony around him was a very anti-corruption czar, somebody who was going to fight corruption because doesn't live a flamboyant lifestyle. He has been somebody who live on the low, even though he has been head of state before, and somebody who wouldn't be given to an ostentatious lifestyle, and somebody who will control the realm. But when he got in, the rest is history for Nigerians to say. Maybe he really got what he promised, or gave Nigerians what he promised by anti-corruption, fight and all of those things, if it was a ruse or it was a success or it was just a front for him to come in now. When he was military head of state, he was there with, his right-hand man, the late Tunde Idiagbon. And many persons remember to say it was a no-nonsense era. It was war against corruption era. And everybody fell in line, they were whipped in line. You can't throw things anyhow on the road. You cannot steal, you'll be jailed and all of those things. Many persons still have that memory of him to be that man who, never wanted to see or hear anything as far as corruption is concerned. That was how he and Idiagbon ran the government in the 80s. Will you say that wasn't a credit to the man?
Well, that was Idiagbon. People say that was Idiagbon. And Idiagbon, to the extent that even when Idiagbon traveled to Mecca and there was a coup, Idiagbon flew into Nigeria. That tells you who Idiagbon was. But you see, the mistake was when he now became president, there was no Tunde Idiagbon. And then some other people took over. When you see a man this old, he becomes president. Of course, he'll be so weak he cannot be able to run. So what we have now is a cabal of his own people. They will come there. The first thing they did, they appropriated the office of the vice president. And when they did appropriate the office of the vice president, they now constituted themselves into a cabal. And as you know, the rest is history. So yes, we're talking about Tunde Idiagbon. He worked with Buhari. There was that no-nonsense game about discipline. But what about when Buhari ran alone? We couldn't see anything about discipline. As you said, you used the right word, ruse. It was a ruse. It was a ruse. Don't forget how much money that was expended and publicly declared for the Aso Rock Clinic. But look at it. It's part of the ruse. Buhari and Abdul Salami are in London being treated by Nigerians who ran away from Nigeria because of his bad governance. How come he never built the hospital so that he could stay here and be treated here? Remember the publicly advertised money. Buhari didn't fall sick after he left power. He was sick before he became president. If it was not a ruse, why didn't he build just one hospital? Why didn't he take the existing hospitals and then upgrade one to the extent that he could be treated
Dr. Catch, that
was
issue of medical tourism is typical
in a London hospital, and that's where he died.
The issue of medical tourism is typical of almost every top Nigerian politician. Is it just a Buhari thing?
Well, if the truth about the present generation of Nigerian politicians, if the truth about the present generation of the politicians is that they are not honest, should Buhari now become the poster boy? That is the question you have to ask yourself. So you're telling me almost all. Why should Buhari, that we thought was Megaskia, suddenly now become the poster boy for them? Buhari died in London. But Buhari did not build or nor upgrade one single hospital in Nigeria that he could be treated in. Instead, it was the young people that ran away to London. Most of them were the ones attending to him in the London clinic where he died. But that's why you see now the youth moving more. They want a new face for the country. So when you see young people seeking for a new Nigeria, there's a reason for it. We have become very, very disappointed at the issues of deceitful, dishonest people who simply will promise you and will fail you.
All right.
So I believe I'm now telling people that Buhari is begging. They hear Buhari begged her to please ask them to forgive him. But why ask forgiveness when you did what you did? Never in Nigeria's history have we had a president who allowed foreigners.
Oh, unfortunately, we lost audio connection there.
Was
okay. I'm about to land. Please hold on, Dr. Kachi. So thankfully you can hear us. So talking about the issue of 2018, when Buhari was in London, he was ill for some months. He was not in Nigeria. I mean, some documents came up being spread by Nnamdi Kanu. There was even a document showing a condolence letter signed by the Queen of England. So it was reported that Buhari actually died in London and that he was taken to Saudi Arabia. Then he was replaced by a body double, Jubril, from Sudan, tested with rats and all that. So it was really a big controversy in Nigeria. What do you say about that period?
Well, that is Garba Shehu has said that he lied about the rats and the infestation. All I could tell you, I was in Abuja at that time. You see, the use of body doubles it's a norm used across countries by presidents and leaders. So yes, Buhari was sick, but because of the overwhelming clamor for him to return, somebody returned a body double, and it wasn't Buhari, and that body double didn't have the biometric to gain access. So if you ask me, I will tell you yes. There were different pictures of different people who look like Buhari. Those were body doubles. But I will tell you that body doubles are not new. Body doubles are used across the world by several people in statecraft. The body double that time, the person who came back didn't have Buhari's biometrics. Yes, he had Buhari's face, but he couldn't enter that particular place and that was why they had to get Julius Berger to come and remove it and then try to just give a key that will go in and out without a biometric lock for it to open. That's what happened. But Buhari didn't die. No, Buhari was sick. Buhari was severely sick, because when Buhari dies, we would know. Now he's dead. Now we know. Now the games of apology have started going around. But then we are talking about who he was. Under him, Nigeria had 3 recessions. Not because Nigeria didn't have the intelligent people to run an economy, because Buhari's nepotism shut out intelligent people from governance. He only took the people he said were his people, his clan people.
Sorry, Dr. Katz. Sorry to cut in, Dr. Katz. I just wanted to clarify on something. So are you saying at that point that a body double was actually returned to Nigeria first, who couldn't gain access into the president's office at the villa?
That's what happened.
President's office at the villa.
That's what happened. That was what happened. But I'm telling you, that time Buhari hadn't died, but because of the disturbance we were having in regards to the amount of days he could stay out of office and why he should be mandated to hand over to the vice president, which he didn't hand over, somebody came in, but the person couldn't gain access because that was a body double. So they came in, and the pictorial effect of, look at my face, Buhari is back. Yes, that was a body double. That was not Buhari. But Buhari was alive. Okay? So, but Buhari is dead now. And of course, things like somebody dying and you're hiding it, you can't. Because Nigeria is not a state where people are not interested. People are interested. If he actually died that time, everybody would know.
Right.
Buhari was alive, but Buhari was seriously challenged health-wise. So a body double, and there were several occasions where the body double was sent. People now start looking at the neck, start looking at the ear. The earlobes were nothing is perfect. You could make a body double that could be very, very good in facial matchings, but may not have the other attributes of that particular person for who the body double is being done. In the US, there's a body double. If a president is not well, doesn't want to go somewhere, a body double can just put the thing on and then move there. So that's not a big issue.
All right.
Let's remove it.
Now, the issue of forgiveness, remember when May 2023, just before the man, President Muhammadu Buhari, left, he was quoted to have said, "Whoever thought that there has been some form of injustice on him, we are all humans. There is no doubt I hurt some people and I wish they would pardon me. And those who think I have hurt them, please pardon me." Those were his parting words when he was leaving the villa, to say, whatever I've done, it's, it is what it is. He is human at the time, and so they should please forgive him. One would say it's one of those things. Some of the statement that he has said before was the issue of I'm for everybody, I'm for nobody, and many things that were attributed to the man Muhammadu Buhari, who thought he has done his best for his country. And recently one of his assistants, media assistants, that's Garba Shehu, in his book that he launched like a week or two ago, said the issue of the rat infestation in the villa was just a diversionary tactics, because people were on their neck that time while Buhari was sick and away in London, and they needed to divert the attention, and something happened. He just had to throw that to the media so that the people can feast on that while they will leave them and stop pressing their necks verbally, by the way, asking for Mr. President, because that was the time that he was away in London, and even many of his cabinet members were not allowed to see him because he was critically ill. And so many persons who understand how this thing works say it's not out of the state. It's not out of the ordinary. By the time you create things so that the people can be busy and leave the actual talk. Now, as we are rounding off, my colleague asked you, Daniel said, is it that you don't see anything that the man did well? You said he mismanaged the economy, 3 recessions, but you didn't factor that there was COVID at that time as well. The whole world was in recession. That was a part of the recession that Buhari had as well. There were issues of nepotism, especially the security arm of the government. But for you, Dr. Kachanonuju, you are saying Buhari's reign, either as a military leader, even as a military leader, the idea, everything that they did, any good from that era was from Tunde Adiagbon. 8 years of Buhari, you are saying it was a zero. Is that what you're saying?
No. There's a good thing Buhari did.
Tell us.
There's one great thing Buhari did for which we're happy. There was, the issue of settler colonialism. Nigerians didn't understand it before. Buhari it was that exposed it. I would say that Buhari's greatest legacy was exposing the Fulani and their plot over the rest of the country. And we must thank him for that, whether you like him or not. The way he overdid it exposed the Fulani for who they are. Today, the first group of people in Nigeria who are jubilating that Buhari is dead are Hausas. The people who suffered the most in Buhari's 8 years were Hausas. Hausas in Katsina, Hausas in Sokoto, Hausas in Zamfara. They call Hausa states that don't have no mix in Nigeria are Katsina, Zamfara, Sokoto, and Kano. These are core Hausa states with no mixes. But Buhari allowed the industrial scale ethnic cleansings to start against Hausas. And that's why I told you, Hausas in Katsina today are jubilating Buhari died. Go to Katsina, you wouldn't know it is Hausa land. Go to places like Basari, go to places like Sapana, Dutima, then Musa.
This thing that you're saying that it was a legacy of Buhari.
As I'm talking to you,
is that you being
are jubilating all over?
Is that you being sarcastic?
Whether you like it or not, what?
Is this you being sarcastic, calling this a legacy of Buhari, or you actually mean it?
This is the truth. Why are we going to forget it? What I told you is the truth. You don't know him. You may be listening to politicians.
Right.
I live with these people. Why is it that Hausas are the first who are jubilating? Because no one else suffers as much as the Hausas under Buhari's 8 years. No one else. Never mind that people kept quiet. Hausas suffered the most in Buhari's hands. That's why Hausas are the first to now start jubilating as Buhari has died. Let's not forget, don't sugarcoat it. Today, Nigeria is in trouble. It is Buhari's legacy.
Dr. Nonju,
yes.
Just a final question from me. Are you, as a person, also celebrating Buhari's death?
No. I have nothing to celebrate about the death of another human being. I only have to reflect on his story, his past. And that's why I tell you, I cannot say everything about him was wrong. Buhari did something good for the country. Buhari exposed the Fulani for their plot. Buhari actually allowed them to put their game of settler colonialism on steroids. It was